Can you see her?
Yes.
Excellent. Ready? Are you rolling?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
I don't believe you. Prove to me that we're rolling. Fucker. Some damn good proof. Anyways, welcome back. It's me, not Space Cowboy 69420, back at it again with the Krispy Kreme. This time we got, surprisingly, a good deck. Because, you know what's really scary? Alice. So here's how we beat Alice. We play worse decks than Alice. Speaking of worse decks, we got Date Alive with Volume 2 cards. So we're good at the game. You can sit over here, Junko. Start us off, we have... Wrong side, right side. We have our main plussing 0. Our feelings, Toka and Miku. If you have 5 or more cards in hand, constant 2k, so 3/5, and it is a center runner. Honestly, you don't really need to run a center runner in this deck, or just a Giga plussing 0 in this deck, just because a lot of times you are playing standby, so filtering is a very good option at level 0. However, because we are playing standby, we also don't always have a lot of cards in hand, so giving us an additional excuse not to play cards every single turn is always a good option. Second up, for our main filtering tool, we have Confrontation with Humans Toka. She has the same profile as Cowgirl from Goblin Slayer and the Itsuki filter from Quint Set 1. On play, reveal the top of the card of your deck. If it's a Date or Celestial Spirit, add it to hand and discard a card. And you can also discard a Date or Celestial Spirit to draw a card. Generally, the way you want to order in operations for these cards is depending on what you have in hand. If you already have what you're looking for, generally you'll want to discard the character to draw one, and then top deck and reveal top to see, hey, do I want to draw this? Do I want to trigger this? Or maybe it's a climax and I can brainstorm it. If you don't have what you're looking for, you're going to want to do the reveal top, draw, discard, then discard to draw. In that order, so that you're more because the further you go into your deck, the more likely you are to hit into the cards that you're actually looking for, mostly climaxes, because we want to be playing a lot of big bodies. Make these even, like this. Ooh, woo. There they are. We also have Nightmare Queen Kurumi. On play, pay 1, put a Date or Celestial Spirit character from our grave into clock, or into bottom of clock. Search your deck for level 1 or lower card character, add it to hand, shuffle. We aren't running a level 1 climax combo, however, we are running a really good level 1 utility piece that we do want to try and fish out for. This also does help us get backups into our hand pretty early to help us protect our level 1 game, which is always nice. So it's also just a way to push us to level 1 so that we can start sandbagging out our 2/2s, and is also just good yellow fix. We run the only playable tap 2 Brainstormer in the entire game for this guy in Sword, Toka. Whenever you play a climax, you can bounce her to hand, gives one of your characters 1k cross turn, which makes her obscenely good, as along with the fact that she is a Brainstormer, so she kind of fills up 2 slots in one, being your bounce back for standby and your Brainstormer. She's a tap 2 Brainstormer, which is pretty whatever. Not as good as tap self 1, but it's still 2 cracked effects on a single card. Honestly, if it was just tap self, search, and then bounce, it'd be beyond broken. And then plus 1k cross turn really helps us get over things. This is what the deck's really good at. Set 1 Dal was really good at being defensive power. This deck is all about being stupid big on your turn, and we'll get to that in a hot minute when we get to the level 1s. But before we do that, wrong card, right cards. We have our Best Girls pre-Season 3, Decisive Moment Origami. She is a drop salvage, and when you do salvage something, you give something plus 1k, which is pretty nice. It helps us get over things, and is our main way to access our graveyard in the deck. We don't run any green, so the fact that she's green means nothing, but she also has a really cool first effect. On play, reveal top card of your deck if it's a level 2 or higher card. Yeah, you can put it into your stock. Sometimes you just randomly get free stock out of this card, and it's really cool and really funny. To our level 0s, we have our dudes, which is hella gay, but we like men in this house. Shido, how the fuck you say this last name? Itsuka. Shido Itsuka, He is on play. Send in one of your opponent's characters from memory, and they put it back on the stage. Good thing to deal with things that have cross-turn effects. And it also has really good deck speed manipulation, because as a pay 4, sack itself, top check 4, grab a character, do some fuck shit. Finishing off our level 0s, we have white-haired waifu, happy incoming message origami. She is our climax swapper. There is another yellow climax swapper in Data Bullet, and it's just vanilla climax swapper, so if you care that much about the color, you could run that. But she's cuter than Kurumi, and she also has a really funny first effect where on play you can reveal your whole hand, and if there's a climax, your opponent's front row gets minus 500, which is really funny. Moving on to level 1s, we have our main standby target, because you're running 8 standby. Great interest Kurumi. Continuous effect. As long as you have 2 or more other characters, she is a 7/5 with hand encore. Basic thing, basic profile, just your main standby target. They're good. Most I could say. The most cracked card in the set, or in this deck though, is this Mystery Hot Pot Party Kotori. She is a frontal 500 assister, which is cool. What's even cooler is that whenever any of your characters triggers a soul icon on their attack, you pump something 2k for the turn. So this is like a really like a good, this deck is like pretty solid into Alice. It doesn't beat it outright, but it doesn't also feel like shit, and this is a really good reason why this card is a good reason why that's a thing. Sometimes you'll, instead of having a Brainstormer and this in your back row, you'll just have 2 of these fuckers, and you're just like, alright, whenever I attack, and I trigger a 2 soul or a soul, something's gonna get plus 4k power, and Alice isn't gonna back up over it, because I can't. She also can rest herself to give something else 500. So you can either like stack that on something that already has power, or give it to another thing that doesn't have power. And a really cool thing about this card is that it also has a soul trigger inherently. So if you trigger her off of your attacks, you can use her own effect on herself, essentially. Last card running at level 1 is a Leafa counter. Just a 2k Leafa counter. They're good. This is kind of a flex spot for just any other counter you want to run. Some people run the anti-change. Some people don't even run level 1 counters to just go to level 2 and whatever. It's whatever. I'm running this mainly because of Yellow Fix, and Leafa is a good effect for filtering. Moving on to level 2s, we have Distracting Seductive Invitation Kurumi. She gains 1,000 for each of your other characters. She'll max out at 9/5, which is pretty small for a normal 2/2. But she does have hand encore, and she also has on attack pay 1 twin drive. So the idea of the deck is that you have oh god, I need a drink. Apologies. So the idea of the deck is that you have these bad bitches out, and you have these bad girls out. Twin drive, you hit like 2 triggers, like standby or just normal trigger icons, give something plus 4k, do it again, and again, and again, wipe your opponent's whole field. And because these have hand encore, you don't care how small they are on your field or on your opponent's turn. If they swing over it, you'll keep it alive and just swing on the crackback to be over, to be like 14k or whatever. Last level 2s that we run are the memory kick backups. 3k, send a memory, good profile. Again, like the other backup, mainly a flex spot. You can just run whatever backups you want, or don't even run backs if you're like feeling brave. For early play, we run Twincest's Wincest, Hurricane Children, Kaguya, who is the one that is the best, and Chizuru? Yuzuru. Kaguya and Yuzuru. Full board early play. During your turn, they gain plus 3k. So they are 10-5 during your turn, which is 10-5 is alright, but like 7-5 is really small. On play, you have 2 options. Well, 3 options. On play, you can heal 1, you can burn 1 to your opponent, or you can discard 2 cards to do both of the effects. If you're at level 2, if like you and your opponent are both at level 2, you'll generally heal. If your opponent is at level 3, you'll generally burn one to try and kill them. And if you have a lot of cards in hand, you'll do both because it's funny. For our finisher, we have Inverse Princess Toka. On play, she can bounce a character and top check 3 rearrange, which is nice for trigger checking and swinging into open lanes. Oh wow! And she has her secondary effect as on attack, pay 1, clock yourself. So it's pretty cheap, and then you ice tail your opponent for 4. Mainly just here because we can't run 4 of a real finisher because Bushiroad hates us. I think Kurumi was really good. I don't think she's nearly as good now, but if I was in charge of Bushiroad ban list for Data Live, I would keep it the way it is, but just let Kurumi have 4 cards. I think it'd be fine. We also run 2 to save Spirit's Kotsuri. She is your super booster for 2k to all characters in front of it. She also has a really cool on-play effect, where on play you can top check 3, grab any card, choose up to 1, or you can salvage a character on play, or give all of your characters plus 1k 1 soul. Generally, you'll actually use the on-play top check 3 to try and dig for climaxes, because it's your only real way of climax assurance besides this and this. And then if you have this in hand, woo, if you grab the wrong climax, you can swap them out. Whoop-de-doo. So yeah, that's the idea. Generally, you'll want to stand by 1 out in the mid-game, keep 1 in hand late game, just in case you don't draw into it, and so you have a way to get into your climax. And for our finisher, sadly, you can only run 2, because Banlish is stinky poo-poo butt. We have Terrible Spirit Kurumi, ye old boogeyman of a format, long gone. If you have 2 or more other characters, she's a 10-5, which is solid cross-turn power lines. On-play heal, and then climax combo. You have 3 options on attack. You can shuffle 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard back into their deck. You can discard 2 cards to burn 3, or you can stock swap for free. So these are all like pretty alright effects. Like, well, I mean, pitch 2, burn 3 is really good. Shuffle back 3 is burn good, but it's not like you get them all at once. You do have to split it up. But then again, like, its worst effect is a stock swap, which can just in games outright, which is still very impressive. And for climaxes, we run 4 Fearless Smile, which is the climax combo for Terrible Spirit Kurumi. And then we also run 4 Brunt of Fury. There is another standby climax in Dao, but that one has Kurumi's face on it, and I don't like Kurumi that much. So I picked the one with Toka, because at least Toka's not Kurumi. I'd be more happy if it had like Origami's or Kaguya's face, but we can't all get what we want. So yeah, that's a really solid deck. I would probably rank it as like a road deck. People have talked with it. This is my kind of like spin and take on it. I think it's really cool. I think it'll see a lot more play now that Alice is in the tournament scene, and this can consistently at least get over 2 Alice lanes, which is, oh yeah, they still keep 1, but like sometimes that at least getting 2 is more than enough to just break the board for a while.